Today we're going to be making some universal market display stands. We are able to create all 5 of our market display items for just $14. Now, like I said, we've got 5 designs, but there are a few more SVGs than that because of the different variances that you can have of the display stands. So I cut them all out of this 48" by 48" half-inch piece of MDF. And MDF is really important. Whereas if you're going to go by plywood, there's going to be different types and different grades, meaning that you're going to get different finish thicknesses. But with this MDF, I had set the thickness at 0.51 inches, and it really made it so that all of the slots and everything fits together perfectly. In the spirit of making everything as simple as possible, we're only going to be using one of the 3 bits that you need to CNC with me. This is the Downtown Jenny. It is a 1/4 inch down shear bit made by Cadence Manufacturing. If you need some new bits, go ahead and jump over to jennybits.com. Using code Hamilton will get you 10% off. The entire program took around an hour. I really didn't have time to time lapse all of this, so I did shoot a few pieces here and there. The 1/4 inch bit did a really great job of hogging out the material, as you can see, in these different trays, as well as this different slotted pattern, which we're going to be getting into in a little while. And then I just went through and profiled everything out. The really nice part is I put on some double-sided tape on the back because I did not want to put tabs on all of these. To me, if you don't have to use tabs, you shouldn't use tabs. So for me, I really wanted to risk it, putting a little bit of double-sided tape on the back, and it all worked out perfectly. So after taking all those pieces off the sheet, I took the time to sand them and then realized that one of the pieces was still stuck on the sheet, but brought that in. As you can see here, I put them all together. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go through each one of these and kind of what they're meant for. First and foremost, this is the jewelry tree. And as you can see right here, I haven't rounded over anything because I really want to make sure that these fit correctly. These are directly off the CNC machine with just a very tiny bit of sanding on the back just to knock off any loose material that didn't get all the way cut through. But as you can see right here, it is the exact same shape, and it is just meant to slot down in on top of itself, making a nice stable area for you to hang your jewelry. Now, relating to projects that we've shown on the channel, those whiskey smokers in particular come with little bags of chips, and this is the perfect place to be able to hang those from. And the really great thing is, at the end of the day, you can flat pack this down, throw this into a tub, and it's not going to take up as much space, but it makes for a very easy way to display different things on top of your table without having to go out and purchase something. This alone was probably less than $1 worth of MDF material. You can cut this out of scrap. It's a really great thing. Just make sure it's half-inch. Number 2 is our second and final jewelry piece. Now, this is really meant to hang different things. Like I just mentioned, those whiskey smoker bags, this is going to be absolutely perfect for it. It's a little bit lower profile, so if you are hanging things like necklaces, but we have this set up and it is a little bit lower, especially having a large blank space right here where you can easily brand it with your brand or the type of things that you're selling. This one is made extremely similarly. We've just got a bunch of these little repeating pieces. They are not different for the top or the bottom, just a ton of them all together, and they all get mounted onto this board. So obviously at the end of the day, as you're breaking down the booth, you can once again flat pack things up, throw these into a bucket, and you are good to go. Now, speaking of throwing them into a bucket, I would say that if you are going to be using these long term, not just for your first market, just to see how things go, I would put a layer of lacquer on them or something like that, just for a little bit of protection for any type of excess moisture that might creep its way into the MDF. And obviously, if for some reason you wanted to, you could flip this over on its top and then it becomes the bottom, meaning that you have these 2 areas to be able to support something. There is a lot of versatility in this one. This one in particular is the file that we're going to have set up for Carveco, Vectric, DXF, and SVG files so that you can go in, create your G-code, and automatically start cutting this. I think it's really versatile, and this is also what we're going to be paying attention to for the toolpath tutorial for all of you CNC With Me members. If you're not a member, check out cncwithme.com. Number 3 is a classic, but definitely should not be overlooked. This is one of the most versatile stands that you can have at your market booth. It is going to easily hold books as well as cutting boards. The way that it's meant to be set up is you have these 2 pieces that you can see right here. It's got a slot on the back, and this one has a slot on the front, and then when you mate these 2 together, it creates this really nice stable stand. Obviously, you can flip it around and have it in different orientations based on what you're looking for, but it is meant to be like this, where you can hold up some type of a cutting board. Ta-da! Number 4 is an interesting one, and we have this in 3 different varieties. I'm only really showing you one right here, and this variety is the half-inch variety. Now, we cut this out on MDF in order to show off the capabilities of it, but the truth be told, it would look a lot better and honestly be a little bit more functional in a hardwood that is much more thick than this, probably like 1 inch or something. I went ahead and cut these troughs down at 0.3 inches for this 0.5 inch material. And what that means is you have different thicknesses for the things that you're looking to show off. If you can see right here, you're able to put something down with a relative thickness and it's able to lean over, creating a nice little area on your market table where it's not taking up a ton of space, but you're able to evenly space out what you do have. So if you have cutting boards, you have cheese boards, or you have signs, you have something that has a specific thickness to it that can sit down into this trough. This is a really great way to be able to show those things off without keeping them into a stack where customers feel like they have to sort through them. This is a really great thing where you have an exact place for it on your table. People can take it off, put it back on without any type of fuss. Now, number 5 is this. Obviously, to follow the theme, this is a flat pack version. So you have 6 different pieces and they all just join together to be able to make your display stand, which means that this whiskey smoker display stand, which has 3 levels, also interchanges with all of these parts. There you go. Meaning that you can switch things out based on what you're trying to sell. So if you have whiskey smokers and you're looking to be able to sell them, you can have these that are dedicated for their placement. Or you can have just one of these pieces at the very bottom where it has all of your chips, so you're not feeling like you have to bring 12 whiskey smokers. Maybe you just bring 8 of them and have a few in reserve, and then have an area that's completely just dedicated for something else. So now you can mix and match these based on what you're trying to bring to a market. But you can see that if you do have a specific item, obviously something small, you can just pocket out the vectors and be able to have a shelf that is dedicated for it. Not only does it make the product look a lot better because it is purpose-built for it, but it just also makes the entire setup process of your booth a lot easier too. You know exactly where something is going and how many things to put there. Everything looks the way that it should. So now also for the people who did want 4 different shelves for their whiskey smoker displays, you now have 2 different variants for a 3 or a 4 different shelf, and you can switch all of these shelves up to your liking and how you want to be able to display your products. Markets can feel extremely daunting, but they do not have to. You certainly don't have to go out and spend a ton of money on a bunch of different things that you don't know if you need or not. I feel like this is a great way to be able to cut out a few different things, bring them to your booth, see what works, see what doesn't. Maybe you want to cut out 4 of these because they are perfect to show off what you have. Maybe you just want to be able to stick with something like this. Maybe some jewelry. Obviously, these are very simple things to be able to throw into your booth, and that is the whole premise behind them. All of these together took me less than an hour to cut out and $14 in material. It doesn't get much easier than that. So if you are looking to be able to do your first market, or if you're a seasoned market veteran and you're looking to be able to switch up your displays a little bit, take a look at these. They are very simple to put together and all of them flat pack so that at the end of the day, when you're tired and ready to head home, breakdown is just as simple as it was to set up the booth in the first place. All these files are now available over at cncwithme.com. If you're not a member, go ahead and check it out. If you haven't checked out the other 2 videos, they will be linked down below for this month. It's kind of wrapping up a whole little thing. And next week, we are going to be finishing up with another market project that is extremely cheap and easy to make. And I think that everybody's going to really enjoy it. It's very, very simple. See you then. Bye.